Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Maloney, Director of Programming and Education at the National Jazz Museum in Harlem, welcoming you to another one of our online events. Tonight, an exciting opportunity for us to partner with an amazing organization, Mutual Mentorship for Musicians, better known as M3, doing another night of world premieres. This is a really exciting organization that you will hear a lot about tonight, and you'll continue to hear about in the future, doing some really amazing work. If you are new to the National Jazz Museum in Harlem, we are located on 129th Street, just off of Malcolm X Boulevard or Lenox Avenue in Harlem. We are currently closed to the public as of, let's see, the date today, December 12th, 2020. But as we look ahead, we hope to be reopening in the spring. So we're excited to have you come and check out the museum if you haven't been there before. If you'd like to support the ongoing virtual and eventually in-person programming here at the National Jazz Museum in Harlem, we'd love to hear from you. If you want to support us financially, you can do that through our website, www.jmih.org/donate. Or you can text the word jazz, J-A-Z-Z, to the number 41444. So tonight, for some great music, on behalf of our Executive Director, Tracy Hyder-Suffren, our artistic team of Jonathan Batiste and Christian McBride, we are excited to have you with us today. I will pass it on to our host for the evening from M3, Jordannah Elizabeth.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jordannah Elizabeth, and I'm so excited for you all to be here tonight. I am here representing M3 as the organization's editor-in-chief, and it has been an honor and a pleasure to work with all of these women and female-identified beings. So M3 was created in the spring of 2020 to empower and elevate musicians of historically unrepresented gender identities in the US and worldwide, including musicians otherwise underrepresented on basis of race, sexuality, or ability across generations through a new model of mentorship and ongoing performance series of new collaborative commissions. So this is going to be a really cool night. We have 3 pieces. Welcome to night 2, by the way. We have 3 new pieces to present to all of you guys. And I'm so honored. I'm so excited. We're going to jump right into it. Shout out to co-founders Jen Shu and Sara Serpa, such amazing women. And so let's thank them as we go forward. So let's jump in and take a gander at Tomeka Reid and Lesley Mock's piece. But I forced my mind, I forced to mind my vision of a sky. Virtual hand claps. First of all, everybody, don't be shy. Feel free to ask questions on the chat. Sorry, I didn't mention that before, but anything that's on your mind, let me know and I will pass it on to the brilliant musicians who did this piece. So right now we're going to have Tomeka and Lesley on to talk about their wonderful art.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so when Tomeka and I were first, getting to know each other in June, we realized we were, both, I was home in California and, Tomeka was picking up her grandmother and going back to Chicago. And we just thought that this was, we both had very special and different relationships with them and wanted to do something that was representative of this like transient moment. And so we both took footage just on our iPhones and sort of piecemealed this, all the footage together and sort of combed through different thematic ideas, some footage from when they're eating or drinking or just talking or maybe moving in a certain way with their walker. And then we improvised a few times over it. And from that, we sort of produced a track that would go along with the film. So that was the basic process. Tomeka, do you want to add anything?
I think that was basically it. Yeah, we just kind of had this common theme surrounding our grandmothers, and we wanted to figure out a way to put that into the represented musically.
Great. Yeah. So Carolyn Davis asks, what was the process of passing music and or video back and forth to each other?
It was, sorry, Tomeka.
Oh no, I was just gonna say we got together and improvised, but yeah, I guess you should, because there were some things that were different, since you added more vocal things, I think, after our improvisation together.
Yeah, it's really interesting, I think, making anything during this time and using technology and, working remotely, because I think even, with the best, even with the smallest amount of latency, there's still an aspect of, you're not really always in like the same moment with someone else. And sometimes those moments pass so quickly, and even like a few milliseconds can feel differently, or the response could feel, it could just have like a different expression. And so we did a few takes where we just improvised to the material. And then I realized that I found that section, Tomeka, where, you were just playing those first notes, those bowed chords. And I really loved that part and starting with that. And it was sort of like, I guess, the collage process of, moving stuff around and seeing where things fit in like a puzzle piece and sort of growing from that. And we would just talk about, the order and, originally we had their voices in the film. But if we decided afterwards that, it was more distracting than helpful. And so a lot of it was just, adding things in and out, and then sort of producing what we had improvised. So yeah, it was an interesting process. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about time, because you mentioned that being kind of in a virtual world, in a virtual central communicative process, the millisecond can change a tone or moment, or you could be in a different mindset so quickly. Um, how do you think time really played into the end process of this piece?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I guess to me there's the literal time, like time playing in an improvisation, which I don't know, how you were thinking about this, Tomeka, but I think we were kind of in a similar headspace. And, from the downbeat of our improvisations, we were doing sort of working in a timeless way, but still, I think still considering rhythm and all of that, but not necessarily playing things that we felt would, wouldn't represent the piece. And then I guess there's also time, like, the scale of which, us starting in June and sort of working slowly, through November, through December. And I think that, it's interesting to make a work that, is personal and so sort of like momentary. And so a lot of it was just us getting to know each other. And I think the first few months we were just talking and
working on the video, I would say, too.
Yeah, working on the video and getting to know just like moments and situations in which we were interacting with our grandmother, and sort of like collecting whatever footage, when we were around them, whatever was happening. And then I would say, in October and November, we sort of started, organizing the material, fine-tuning different things, and sort of deciding how to shape the piece. And then a lot of back and forth, like a decision to whether or not to include their voices. And, I think we only improvised like one time together. Like we did a few takes, but we only got together one time. And there was so much material within that, like 3 7-minute takes that the rest of it was just like post-production.
Tomeka, so you're kind of a world-renowned cellist. You do okay for yourself. Um, tell me a little bit about, was this more of a intimate process? You're used to touring and playing shows and, putting out albums and stuff. How did this experience kind of mirror or differ from the way you navigate your career?
Well, that's a tough question. Well, I think just being a part of this group overall has been really exciting. Just getting to know, everyone in this group, and I really like the process of. I love collaborating for one. I feel like I'm a musician that's very very open to collaboration. So I love the process where we spun the wheel, and it's funny because earlier this year Lesley had asked me to do a project with her, but I actually wasn't available for it. So I thought it was really wild how when we spun the wheel, we actually got selected, paired together. So I was like, well, it was fate that we were going to do something, this year. And it's been just wonderful getting to know her, and, yeah, as we already mentioned, we spent a lot of time just really getting to know each other, because we didn't do some of the playing until later. I think we spent a lot of the time working on the video. And I've done some stuff with video, but I never really collaboratively, so that was an interesting process. But yeah, we spent a lot of time, and I think, we whittled it down. I think it was a little bit longer, but we took out some things, and I really loved the how we, how she overlapped, you know, the hands and the faces, the eating. It was just fun talking about that process, and I think she did a really beautiful job with that. And then, yeah, I think we just did that that session, or it was like maybe a session to just test out sounds, and then we had we had some trouble because it's Zoom land, and then we did another session where we recorded some stuff. So it was just a different process because as most of us do, we do stuff live, and so just how does this gonna work just over Zoom? But I think it was a nice thing to do, and I would be encouraged to continue with it.
Last question. Sumi asks, can you talk about the relationship between the video and the music? Was the video first?
Yeah, I would say the video was first. Yeah, we worked on that video, I don't know, Lesley, how long?
Maybe, over the course of 2 months, like back and forth, like 5 or 6 different edits. Yeah, different iterations. I think it started more as like a 10-minute piece, whittled it down. I think, we had talked about finding clarity within the visual material, and having these, these themes with their walkers, with their hands, drinking and eating, or, being in the park, or moving. And I think that it felt like the music part was really easy after we were able to sort of find this through line in the visual material. And yeah, it was, I guess we didn't really, decide to do it that way. It came about like that.
Yeah. Okay, we have 1 minute and one more question from Kenneth Robbins. Would you consider having someone run these different tapes in different orders with the two of you improvising to see if it would create a different story? I guess like the images like mixed up and then you would just improvise over it not knowing what's going to happen. Would you? Kenneth wants to know, would you be into that?
That's a really interesting question. Yeah, Ramarna, like you said, epic question. Yeah, I'm really interested in like collaging too, and there are a few filmmakers I really admire who sort of do that type of work. Like Arthur Jafa, and sort of using these little segments of pieces and sort of creating, I guess like almost like voice leading the pieces through this like general like feeling, rather than like, a narrative piece. And it's really interesting to see how, like he takes maybe like 200 things of like found footage to create like a 3-minute super like potent, super fast piece that just feels like overwhelming and like dense all at once. And yeah, I would be very open to, experimenting with that in a similar way.
Cool. So we are out of time, but it was an honor and a pleasure to talk to both of you. I'm a big fan of both of your work, and I'm sure everybody here is really excited and was really honored to see your stuff. So thank you so much, and we are going to keep this show rolling. Up next is Erica Lindsay and Sara Serpa's piece, Sound. My handwriting is so bad. Sand and Instability and Aqua.
La da la da la da oh. La da la da la da oh. La do ka la do ka la do ah. La do ka la do ka. Sand and instability allow my roots to spread. Sand and instability stability. Allow my roots to sprout. Dry weather does not bother me, nor cold nights, nor the sun's warmth. Nor sea salt or the north wind, nor bees or wild animals. All are my friends. Hermaphrodite, self-fertile, and even aphrodisiac. My scientific labels. My seeds roll throughout the sand, carrying hope by the sea. Sand and light, wind and cold, the ocean and its salt, give me all I need. Sand and light, wind and cold, the ocean and its salt, give me all I need. In this stable instability, where footprints disappear instantly, I belong, I survive, and I thrive. In this stable instability, where footprints disappear instantly, I belong, I survive. I belong, I survive.
Yay, that was beautiful. I'm really excited. If we could bring Sara and Erica onto the screen, that would be amazing.
Yay.
Yay! This was really, really beautiful. So Maya asks, oh my God, Sara, is this the saxophone finger pad sound? I don't know what that means, but I'm sure you do. So
Yeah, I think this question is for Erica.
Yeah, I started because I'm on hiatus with saxophone playing because of a jaw injury. So I decided, because I was so excited to collaborate with Sara, that I've always wanted to experiment with layering sax clicks. You know, because when you hit the sax with your fingers, it makes it's a tonal sound, but it's more like a drum tonal sound where it's slightly indefinite, but it also has a definite quality of tone along with sound. And so I just did different combinations of clicks and then layered them on top of each other. And then I sent them to Sara, and then she created a song and mixed them together how she wanted to mix them.
wonderful. Aiden asks, Sara, I was completely blown away from your lyricism in the first piece. Would love to know more about the process behind composing that.
Yeah, so after Erica sent me these different tracks of saxophone clicks, spent some time just kind of figuring out how would this make sense, like how can we create a whole with all these parts. And then I just started sending some improvisations over those click tracks, you know, to Erica, just to see, do you like this or how does this sound? And so, you know, my first intuition, my first thing was like, oh, we should write down. I need to write down this. And Erica's like, no, just improvise and use your ear, you know, sing over it. Let's do it like kind of in a spontaneous way. And so that happened that way. You know, then there was the theme that there was this beautiful flower that I used to find through my walks here in Portugal by the seashore. There's this beautiful flower that it's a wild flower that survives all kinds of weather, you know, and has all these, you know, it's purple but you can see it's a wild flower. And then I made some research about the flower and I said, maybe we can just write a song thinking that it's the flower speaking, you know, so, and there was some kind of, also kind of similar to what we're going through, like we're going through all these harsh conditions, but still we thrive, you know, and we're spreading our roots slowly, you know. And I kind of imagine M³ also being something like that, you know, like we're spreading our roots.
Maya asks, I'm also curious about how you think about choosing syllables to sing over melodies if words aren't specified.
I mean, I don't really think that much about the syllables. I think, and especially in this case, I was just trying to see like, how can I make something that sounds coherent, or, you know, that also relates to the rhythm, you know, that's present in the saxophone clicks. And I think like the general thing was like not thinking too much about what was happening.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything, Erica?
Just in general, or?
No, we have other questions. Actually, we have plenty of questions for you too. And Caroline Davis is wondering how you edit the footage and what software did you use?
Okay, so First of all, we didn't do the video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were just really, you know, we both felt like we had all these images because once we started our connection, you know, and our collaboration, we were trying to find like common themes, and there were many common themes, which was walks in the nature, and how like these walks were bringing consolation, you know, or just kind of a relief from what, you know, all these Zoom and just kind of our lives being on the computers, and we being stuck at home most of the day. So I think Erica started sending images of her walks and her landscape, and I also started sharing pictures and videos of my landscapes. And so the idea was to create a video that had both landscapes coming together.
I also have to give a shout out to my brother, who sent some beautiful shots from a ferry in the East Bay. Also got in there.
Thank you, Erica's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom also sent me some pictures of our walks. But anyway, we asked Mariana Meraz, who usually I work with her with videos, and I asked her, can you just put something together? I gave her just little directions, you know, but in general, she made an amazing job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sumi wanted to know, did you practice singing the melodies at all?
Which melodies? From the first song or from the second song?
Well, it just says melodies. So maybe both, like.
Yes, the second song.
Animals.
Yeah, the second song, basically it was Erica wrote the second song. And so then she sent it to me and said, you know, like, let's see how can you sing this, you know? And so initially I had just the melody line, and that for sure I had to practice a lot, like complicated 7/4 melody. But then, you know, there was more also kind of an attempt to see, like, can I sing the other lines too, you know? So I started just kind of doubling the bass, you know, and just singing other parts that were written just for the piano.
I think we have one more question. Hyung, I hope I said your name right. Hyung Sol Yoon wants to know where are I know you mentioned that some images were from your family members, but where did you find each of your images for the film?
Mainly on our walks. I you know, live in Rosendale, New York, and it's by a river, and I walk there. And it's so gorgeous. That's where all the flying geese came from, you know. And then Sara is in Portugal. My goodness,
Portugal.
All those beautiful pictures. But I also would like to say that the second piece that I wrote, I was so excited when I got paired with Sara. I listened to all of her CDs and just thought about her voice. And then that's what inspired that melody, was, you know, direct inspiration from her voice and what I know she's capable of doing.
Yeah, Sara's kind of a big deal.
I don't know.
I'm looking on my Instagram because Erica, one of your students, Benji Marks, is a friend of mine.
Oh, wow.
And and I was Instagramming about the events, and he said, Erica Lindsay taught me. So I just wanted to give you a shout out from Benji.
Oh, thank you.
So that piece was really gorgeous, and I guess I want to know a little bit more about the word instability. Was that a foreshadow or kind of a play on the unstable times that we're living in? What is unstable about your piece?
I think, you know, there was this idea that where this plant lives, it's so unstable in the sense of, you know, there's sand that's constantly moving, there's wind, you know, there's sunlight. You know, it's not like a safe kind of protected environment. And also like the idea of sand, where you put one foot on the sand and just it doesn't stay solid. And there was some kind of parallel idea to what we're going through. Like everything is so unstable, you know, and it feels like you put one foot and then all of a sudden your foot tracks are gone, you know. So I think there was more this kind of idea, like, am I like the flower? You know, can we all be like the flower, where we're going through all these stuff that it feels like everything is so unsafe or unstable, but we're here, you know. So yeah, I think that kind of summarizes the idea of sand and instability.
So we have 1 or 2 minutes left, and you know, I guess I just wanted to ask about mutual mentorship, how everyone is equal. I know I joke about big deals and all of that stuff, but you all are very successful and talented and equal in your own rights. So what was a little bit that you learned from each other as mutual mentors?
Erica, do you want to go first?
I think it's always so fascinating what happens in a collaboration where it's such a give and take, and giving your partner that space to let them be who they are, and then the other the same way. It's I found that we did that very well, and that gave me the freedom to do what I wanted to do, be what I had to offer, and likewise with Sara.
Yeah, I feel I learned a lot about, I mean, I think Erica is so, there's a spiritual component on Erica's approach to life and music that really inspired me, you know. And there was, you know, right at the beginning when we started talking, you know, Erica was very kind of she would just say just a few words, just like, you got to take care of your inner self, you know. And I'll always like kind of keep that with me, you know, because so much things were going on, you know. And it's interesting to see how this thing lasted over 6 months, which seems like a short period of time, but so many things happened in between, you know. So each time when I'm feeling kind of like anxious, you know, I think of Erica, like meditation, you know, like take care of your inner self. But there is, you know, there is some kind of grounding and power in just being kind of honest about like what's going on inside of us. And I think Erica really brought my attention to that. Yeah.
Wonderful, lovely. Your piece was gorgeous, and I want to thank both of you for being amazing and offering this great composition. We are going to move forward with Ada Girma and Anjna Swaminathan's piece, Connections Hold Inherent Limitations.
She is short and she's like the human manifestation of these like round Indian sweets called gulab jamun. And I don't just mean that because she's round. She literally has had a paunch probably bigger than someone's pregnant, very, very pregnant with many children belly. அது வச்சுட்டு ஏதாவது பண்ணுங்க. When I was 6 years old, I went to Ethiopia for the first time. And I remember one night when I was asleep, I had a dream. And in the dream, there was this wishing well. I went up to the wishing well in a beautiful pavilion. And I stood by it and closed my eyes in the dream and made this wish with all of my 6-year-old heart that I could speak Amharic. And then I threw a penny in the well. And I saw it go down, and then I woke up. She taught in whatever pitch the student was singing in, and that caused so much strain on her voice that she lost it. And at that time, I think Indian women didn't listen to their pain. And I think even thinking about my wrist, my grandmother fell and fractured her, like something in her wrist or her forearm, or thumb or something like this. When she was in her mid-20s, I think, early 20s, and I know that my dad and his brother had to help braid all their sister's hair and things like that because she didn't really have a functioning hand or functioning opposable thumb, and she played the violin, eats, cooks, does everything without a proper functioning right hand. And I don't know that she actually did anything to get it fixed. And it's similar with her voice, and she's got this resilience, or this be at times selfish commitment to who she is and what she does. Still that commit every day to waking up and having a very, very I think that you for an Indian woman, when most Indian women listen to others before themselves. So when she talks and she sings and she tells these like incredibly detailed stories that you can't quite understand any of the details of because she says them so quickly and makes up fake words while trying to tell them. And the funny thing is, I guess like 10 years after I visited Ethiopia for the first time, I had this dream when I was home in Wisconsin. And in the dream, I was downstairs in the living room, and there was this woman who was seated next to the fireplace. And you know in dreams how sometimes they can come with their own systems of logic or knowledge. In that dream, I just knew that this was my great-grandmother, so the mother of my mother's mother. And the next morning, I told my mom and my grandmother about it. She was my caller. My was visiting us, and I told them both. And they looked at me so concerned. And my grandma actually exclaimed, like, let's say a prayer for you, because in their eyes, for me to have seen a dead person in my dream was boding some misfortune. And in my mind, I was like, I feel like a conversation with one of these people is something that I've been wanting my whole life. Are accompanied with these dainty movements of her hands that they just kind of help to tell all these stories. And she's so small, she's so small, she's so small and she's so big at the same time. She's so small and she's so big at the same time. She's so small and she's so big at the same time. In this way that she has become the matriarch of our family and held the power of that, while still. So I've had a greater empathy for her, and a newfound love for her as I go through my own journeys with patriarchy and self-expression and hand injury.
Can you hear me? Can you see me? See that I'm trying. See that I'm trying. Do you love me? Love, do you stay? Love, do you stay?
So small and big at the same time. I dig it. I dig it. So I would love to have Aiden and the Anjna on the screen so we can have a chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Because this piece
Hey everybody.
is really... Hi.
Hi. I'm just appalled that
like
I'm just amazed that Caroline mentioned the Morse code because I didn't think that people.
Oh my God.
Well, let's get into that. Tell me about the Morse code and the language that you had going on in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's, I think people mentioned it in the chat. There were a bunch of different languages that we were interested in exploring. You know, the photographic, the recalled memory, the symbolic, things across, you know, mathematics and I don't know, a lot of different things. And I mean, Anjna can also talk more about this, but our process in working together was really all over the place in the best way. We were kind of constantly just like bouncing different things back to each other because we're both interested in, I think, a lot of different manifestations. So somehow it all came together.
It was also interesting, because I feel like we started doing our duo sessions quite late in the game, and it was really funny where like we would go to these group sessions and they would be like, how are your duo sessions going? And people would be like, I already have a film. And Aiden and I were both just like going through a lot, in our own lives and work wise. And we would just be like, hey, I'm thinking about you and this is coming up for me. And so it was really interesting to have this like relationship that was just like actually very not in time in the same space or in the same Zoom room even. And it felt really cool to actually allow our piece to develop. Sorry, there's like a lot of sirens going on. To allow our piece, the collaboration and the putting together of our piece to come from like almost a handing off. And part of what came up too was like we were talking about, the pieces that we shared with each other. I was really learning from Aiden's like electronic sensibilities and like, hey, this is like a world I don't even understand. And they were learning from a lot of my like dramaturgical, theatrical sensibilities, working with text and things like that. And then I was just like, also, this is weird, but I like math and I like drawing.
And I was like, well, I got something for you there.
On the wall and weavings and stuff like that. And I'm really into like geometry as a means of like getting to some kind of like mathematical musical space. And then all of a sudden, like Eden very casually says, oh yeah, me too. And then like pulls out these insane drawings. And I was like, wait a second, this looks exactly like some of my geometric drawings. And just noticing that like, while we were mentoring each other in this other space, either musically or theatrically or narratively or electronically, there was this grounding that we both had that we were almost keeping secret for the visual. Yeah, it's a lot. We've had a lot that we connect on.
I'm still hanging on the word dramaturgical. As a writer, I'm like, I need that word. But Madalena asked about your geometry. They said, how did you do the geometrical drawings in the video?
Well, yeah, so I'll just describe briefly the original idea, because I would say around like April-ish, I kind of began just experimenting with what was really just like improvisational line combobulations. I was really interested in this idea of multi-dimensional like geometry and how would it look like to create a structure that, seems like full on its own, but when you try to like look at it from a number of angles and try to sort of dismantle it into concrete substructures, it would be really difficult. So those all were just like pencil or pen drawings that I had done. And then as it progressed, I was interested in saying, oh, maybe this can be, instead of just like an abstract structure, maybe it can be a way of representing something else. So I was interested too in this idea that maybe these structures can, represent the connections we have with other people, the connections we break, stuff like that. So in terms of bringing those into the video, well, we basically had to like kind of stop animating. So I made like one sort of GIF, I guess, of one of the drawings that you see at the end. Anjna did this
I got
unreal job.
I got an iPad and I used that iPad.
Yeah. So Anjna basically, like I sent her those drawings and then she basically traced them.
Yeah,
and filmed that tracing so it could be exported as a video.
Yeah, and I wanted to, and I actually did like there's this app called Procreate where you can do like smaller stop motion animations. So there's that part of it, which was just drawing over, like drawing each of the frames. and I was just like hand drawing them. I initially hand drew all of them, and then I was like, oh wait, I can duplicate, and I don't have to redraw every line. But I think, it's interesting. Like, I went back to Aiden's notes on connection after starting to put together the majority of the video, and the part where I sing those lines about connection had not been in the audio initially. And so my grandmother passed away almost exactly a month ago. So tomorrow will be a month. And that's kind of something that I just kind of reached out to Aiden, and I was like, hey, my grandma died. I think I need to just like reflect on her somehow. And what was interesting was like my way of coping in the first few weeks was to draw her again and again. And I have like on my iPad, I've just been like playing around with all these different elements, and I love drawing wrinkles, and I love like shading, and I love that like, even in creating like a line drawing, you kind of have to start with this, like I always say, like every line that I draw, it starts out hairy, and then you kind of make it into a line. But yeah, it was just like so interesting how like the geometric kind of like vector drawings that we had, and then also these like really real hyper realistic sketches that I was doing, and then all that alongside this footage, I guess.
Okay, that is incredibly interesting. So Kenneth had a question that's a little way over my head, so I hope Kenneth Robbins asks, why does Carnatic violin lend itself so well to jazz collaborations?
Oh, I think that for one thing, like it's interesting because I didn't play the violin at all on this. But my grandmother playing the violin, the video of that is there. But I am primarily the majority of my career has been as a Carnatic violinist, and I think part of it is like the approach to improvisation. In Carnatic music, we have a similar sensibility of improvising within a form and being really dutiful to that form. So the word that we use for improvisation is manodharma, and the word dharma, which I'm sure you've all heard, dharma and karma, dharma literally means duty. So I kind of think of it as like an artful and dutiful improvisation. And I think when in creative music spaces, jazz musicians and Carnatic musicians come together doing something free, we still stay dutiful to something, whether that's like a through line or, our own tradition and the historicity of that. And I think there's just something that's like very, dutiful is the word that comes up for me, because it's like, it's both rigorous and free at the same time.
And out of curiosity, what does karma mean?
Oh, so karma is like sort of the kind of residue that a soul has and carries from one life to the next. And dharma is kind of its counterpart, which is what your duty is in this life, which usually has something to do with your karma that you're holding from your past life.
Love it. We have a question from Jen. Were the audio recordings of your stories done individually, or did you record them of yourself talking to each other?
You want to go first, Aiden?
Sure. They were done individually. And actually, I mean, to my understanding, Anjna's was done like a very long time ago.
Yeah, so I have done this project called Woven, in which I asked like 40 people to speak about elders in their lives, like close their eyes and meditate on it. And my partner told me the night before the show, hey, you should probably do this and like meditate into a, vocally meditate into a voice recorder. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I made everybody else do it. I may as well do it before the show and see what it opens up. And Aiden was actually really taken by that performance. All these questions about like how I came up with the questions to have people respond to. So I was kind of revisiting that video a lot because I was sharing it with Aiden. And then when my grandmother passed, I was like, oh yeah, I think I spoke about my grandmother in this recording. And my dad was also sending me all these audio recordings that he had collected of her. If you don't understand Tamil, you can't fully understand what she's saying. But in the recording, she's actually talking about her experiences as a young vocalist, following her guru around and learning from like, you know, the greatest, most legendary composers at the time. And she was just a fly on the wall, and learning all of these things. And she's talking about these experiences in her like broken voice. So I really wanted to kind of use these two things, like very casual speech that's not prepared in any way.
Awesome. We have about 1.5 minutes left. Ramarna asks, info on production and mixing? Fill it.
Yeah, well, so I guess we approached this wanting to make some sort of textural thing. And Anjna, when she, you know, told me about all of the recordings that she had with her, both reflecting on, you know, on her grandmother and also singing together with her and also other conversations. So she sent me a collage, I guess, kind of like a sonic collage, with all of these different things layered, and then pass that on to me. It was kind of like, I don't know, this like volleyball type of situation. So she passed it on to me, and then I put that into Logic and explored how it could, I don't know, be shifted and changed in conjunction with my own field recordings that I took from Ethiopia when I was there in January of this year, somehow in the same year, and also my own reflections. And I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Ramon, about the production, other than I think something that I definitely had in mind a lot was how how can on one side, you know, voices be percussive or like rhythmically charged, and then also how can percussive elements be their own kind of dynamic voices. There's a lot of fun I had in sort of manipulating kind of the drum sounds in the techno part, and just like shifting things there and creating some dynamism there. So I don't know. I can talk to you more about it too.
I will say too, it was cool how like at the end, I almost like revisited Aiden's notes, like the handwritten notes on some of which are in the film, but the whole process of like connection and disconnection. And it was kind of cool, like the words that were in it, like equilibrium and bifurcation and multiple dimensions, all of this stuff. And I was just like, I kind of just want to improvise and sing this. So like, I was just like, Aiden, I don't have a good recording system. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and just improvise all of your like jotting downs of thoughts. And that was like kind of a last minute addition into it, which is the voices at the end as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, now we're going to bring on all of the cohorts who virtually performed tonight. Tomeka, Lesley, Erica, and Sara, along with Aiden and Anjna. And I would just love for you all to tell us, I'm hearing a little bit of an echo, but I think it's good. I would love for you all to tell us what you have coming up, what you're working on, what you're excited about, and share what's on your heart and mind with the amazing viewers. Who wants to go first? Erica?
Sure. Right now, well, first, I just want to say to everybody just how awesome everybody's work is. And
yay!
Your cello sound, you know, Aiden, your unbelievable mixing. I mean, everybody was just, you know, Lesley, your delicate beautiful textures you put in that, your video, and Anjna, oh my goodness. I mean, everybody, just thank you so much. And for me, right now, I'm about to have a new CD come out from Alchemy Sound Project, which Sumi is also involved with. It's called Africa Love. And I'm waiting to record my new Jazz Works commission from Chamber Music of America. And
Yay.
we're waiting for the COVID to be over in order to do so. But those are the two main things that are going on right now.
What about you, Tomeka?
Let's see. I just finished recording a short soundtrack for a short film by the visual artist David Hart. But actually, I'm really looking forward to having a little break. It's been a very, very intense. I mean, I know we have a pandemic, but it's been a very intense fall. So I'm looking forward to taking
Resting,
a break.
self-care, yeah. Lesley, how about you?
I just finished putting together this new work for music, film, and circus arts at Roulette. So I don't know. It's I haven't thought about it yet. I'm gonna write a piece for Jack in the spring, and I'm really interested in making some more film work. Yeah, just exploring and just researching more, learning about more, experimental film artists, and just seeing where that takes me.
Wonderful. Aiden, hey.
Am I supposed to talk about what is happening next?
No pressure. You can talk about anything you want.
Yeah, well, thank you all for this just amazing past 6 months together. It's been a dream. I'm in the process of applying to PhDs, so I have that to do. And after that, I will sleep for 100 years. So I'm looking forward to that experience. Yes.
Awesome. Anjna.
So I just decided, it's a weird thing with COVID, but I'm a 2020 Van Leer Fellow at Roulette Intermedium and premiered 2 new works in November. And I just put in all the information for my next show, which is actually in March. And I'm writing a solo show, which is crazy. But I think this whole process has opened up so much, kind of like Lesley was saying too, about like film and everything. And Jen has kind of been like pushing me to do solo shows since I like met her. And so I'm returning to that, and yeah, excited to see what happens, just trying to expand and explore. And that's in March, so I will be.
And Anjna, I love your Instagram. I think you followed me. I don't know. I think I've been following you for like a long time. I don't know. I can't remember. But I think it's really cool. I just wanted to say fanning out a little bit. Sara, what about you? Last but not least.
First of all, I just want to say also, like, it's been so rewarding, and also, like, not just our group meetings, which, I really want them to keep going forever, but also just so rewarding to see and be inspired by all your artistic work. It was all so different, and yet, like, we can all relate to it in a way, so it was really incredible. So I want to thank you all, and also like the cohort members that presented last week. Your pieces stayed in my mind for the week, and I'm sure like the pieces from tonight will stay also. I'm just in the middle of recording a project in collaboration with the Nigerian writer Emmanuel Iduma. So it's a piece that we put together about over his book called A Stranger's Pose, and our piece is called Intimate Strangers. And so it's like a collaboration that involves some parts of his books, like it's about his travels from Africa to Sarajevo. So he went like from different African countries. And so like so it's a 12-song cycle that focus on different encounters he has through his travels. So we're in the process of recording that, and hopefully it will come out next year. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yay, Jen. I would love for you to say a few words before we bring the whole crew on.
Yes, so I just repasted everybody's links. Anjna forgot to mention her new Patreon page. And also from last week, Tomeka and Ramarna also have pages. I've got a page. So that has been taking up a lot of my time. But it's just been a great opportunity in this COVID time, and the rest of my time has been devoted to M3. But I just wanted to thank you, everyone, for being here on Zoom. I see everybody on the screen. And just such a big thank you to National Jazz Museum in Harlem, and to Ryan, and to Tracy, and to Jordannah, of course, for being our amazing host, and our new editor-in-chief of our M3 anthology of essays to come. So that's definitely very exciting. After this, we're all going to write our own essays about our work, and it will be published next spring. So, and of course, we really want to thank Nancy and Joe Walker and Media the Foundation. I know Joe is watching. So, yeah, he's the co-commissioner of all these pieces that you've seen the last 2 performances of our work. So thank you, Joe. And also thank you to Vanessa Reid and New Music USA. We are so excited that they are supporting our second cohort, which will be for the next 6 months. And we're so grateful and excited. And we have to select as a group the next group, and that's I'm a little bit scared of that process, but it's going to be very difficult. But yes, we're very excited to continue this. And also to the new music box, and that's Franco Terry, who helped compile articles of our writings about M3 and just what mentorship has meant to us in the last 6 months. So you can check that out. That's a wonderful piece that is on their website, and I think I even have the link. Woo, okay. And also to Anne Braithwaite, publicist of Sara's, and also my publicist Lisa Janig and Schumann Associates, and Connie and John, and they helped edit all the interviews that we did also with each other about mentorship, about collaborating. And you can check those out on Instagram at our handle, which is Mutual Mentorship for Musicians. And of course, we're so happy you could just join us today. If you love what you have seen and want to help support the next cohort, the donate link has been dropped, and this will just help us continue to support the work, and which has blown my mind. And I'm just overwhelmed by the creativity that has been generated. And support as well. And so, yes, we are fiscally sponsored by NYFA, which is New York Foundation for the Arts. And you can keep us in mind for your end of year giving before the new year. And again, if you want to support the artists directly, you have their websites. And yes, Jordannah, it's your turn to bring everyone on.
I'm so excited. So let's bring everybody on. Val, Ramarna, Caroline, Maya, Sumi. So we can have the whole crew, the whole M3 crew, all in one virtual psychic space.
Yes. We need, and there's Val.
Oh, wow.
Wait, what's going on?
I don't know. This is our final hurrah.
I shouldn't have said psychic space. It just got like.
Wow.
So,
And we want to thank our tech team, also Yardbird Entertainment, Peter and Abel, who are doing this all behind the scenes. So here we go.
Yeah, everybody's coming on the screen, and it's like, I don't know, like a 2020 Brady Bunch here.
It might not, I think maybe because of all of the people, it might not be possible to fit all of us in one screen.
Is that what's happening?
A spotlight limit.
Oh, they have a limit. Oh, they have a limit.
Okay, a valiant effort nonetheless.
You can take me out. Take me out. Take me out. Anyway, I'm still gonna screenshot. This is what we do after each meeting.
Can you like screenshot and then add everyone that's missing and then screenshot again and then we'll like layer it?
I think, yeah.
Say no more.
The art of Zoom, everybody. It's like we had to work 20, 30, 40 years to get our lives moving on planet Earth and in reality, and now we have to do an interweb reality and make that work as if we don't have many things to do. If whoever's muting or typing could mute, that would be super cool. I'm super excited to have everybody here. I'm so humbled and honored, and we have all of the cohorts here. Is there anything that anybody wants to say that hasn't already been said about this general opportunity and how special it has been for you in these past 6 months?
Sumi, go. Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
Oh no.
Oh, I think.
She doesn't look muted.
She doesn't look
muted?
no,
now she is muted. Uh-oh, now she's
Okay.
unmuted. Oh no, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
I'm
Yes.
so sorry. My fault. That was my fault. Really quickly, just thank you, Jen and Sara, for the vision of this whole program. It was really absolutely amazing. I really could feel the whole entire group and everybody's work, even though we're working in duos to present the music. There was such a sense of continuity, even though everybody's work was completely unique and in so many different ways. But the genesis of the cell, of who we are together is so present in all the work. And I just really want to just give you both a shout out for making this happen. And I know you've had a lot of support, but I don't know if you've been properly acknowledged tonight. So really, thank you, Jen. Thank you, Sara.
Thank you.
Yeah. And as someone who has been working to highlight Black women and women of color and LGTB artists in jazz and in creative music and experimental music, we don't really know how momentous and how historical this really is. But, these are also women who put together We Have Voice, on the heels of Me Too and the conversation of sexism and gender disparity in jazz. We should just say it aloud and say that we are here to not only push back but to create a new paradigm and to open a door for new generations of women and girls of color and of LGBTQ to feel safe, to feel included. And I don't mean included by men, but to feel like the whole, and that they are honored, and not only honored, but supported. So this is really the first of its kind, this organization. And, shout out to Jerry Allen Jazz Camp and, all the great things that are also going on. But this is the crux and the start of a new look and feel and reality of jazz music. I just want to say, really, you're making history, you all, and I'm just humbled to be a part of it.
Yay! Yay!
Okay. If anybody doesn't have anything else to say, does anybody have anything on their heart they want to say before we wrap up and let everybody go?
I would like to say something. Like I feel like we've been asking people to donate, and of course, like any contributions will help to, fund the next cohorts. But actually, like donate can also come in the form of tech support, video support, whatever you feel like can help us in this mission is welcome. So please reach out, and we would love to have your talents helping us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sara. On that note, this was the first inaugural M³ concert series, and hopefully at some point we'll all be able to be together in a physical space. But until then, this is just as beautiful and just as good and just as valid and real. So we want to say goodnight, farewell, adieu, adios. I don't know how to say goodbye in many more languages. But thank you all so much for coming.
Yay!
Thank you, Jordannah.
I'm screenshotting. Ah! Oh my gosh.
It just feels good to laugh. I think we needed that. We needed a nice release.
We need it in our lives.
Yes.
Oh man, that was so beautiful. Oh, those pieces. Ay, ay, ay. Oh. Well, should we close screen now? Should we say goodbye?
I think so.
I guess.
Nobody wants her.
Anjna wants to say something. Yes?
Jen or
Yes.
Sara, can you please do that thing where you copy all the text?
Yes.
I don't want to lose.
I know. That's right.
Such nice stuff.
That's right. Yep. Done.